Hey peeps, Sarah here from Sparrow Springs and welcome back to my channel. Today we are working on an abstract watercolor painting. Feel free to follow along. Even though this is not an official tutorial, this one could be fairly easy to follow along with. Today is story time on how I used to hate abstract art. But before I get into that, if you did not see my video that I posted yesterday, I'm doing a challenge for the month of October that I am calling Tube-tober. Basically, I will be posting a video a day for the next 31 days. Today is day 2 and I have a lot more planned. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications to see when I post all of those new videos. Now, abstract art. Now, it may be a bit hard to believe because I have quite a number of abstract art videos on this channel that are abstract, but I used to hate abstract. I didn't really think it was art, and in my opinion, it was just kind of a cheater's way to call yourself an artist. Now, there's a little bit of history that goes with that. I would say that in general, my family looked at abstract art and for the most part kind of thought it was pointless garbage. They were definitely much more impressed with realistic artwork, and that's what I strive to do, and I admit I was good at it. When you're good at something, it's pretty common to get compliments, and I sort of fed on it. I would say my sister has been much more open to more of kind of a conceptual abstract kind of style, and I have a lot of favorite pieces that she's done in the past that were also kind of influential to what I do now. Particularly how she likes to infuse like gold ink into a lot of her pieces. I absolutely love that little bit of metallic taste. But anyways, most of my time as an artist was spent trying to make my artwork look as realistic as possible, and I had nothing good to say about any kind of abstract art. Huge disclaimer here, there's a whole lot of abstract art that I'm still really not a fan of, so maybe I haven't been completely cured of my disdain for it, particularly pieces that are just like a single line or a solid shape. And to be perfectly honest, there's a lot of it that just kind of looks like someone threw up all over the place, like the colors clash, or it's just a big muddled blob of texture. It's busy, exhausting to look at, but obviously someone likes it, so I will refrain from calling it not art. And I think what burns me is that some of these pieces go for millions of dollars, and it looks like my 1-year-old could have made it. Anyways, enough of my rant on that. I thought I was over this. And I know sometimes I'm not the best judge on what requires a lot of skill and what doesn't. Like, doing a drawing with a single continuous line was a lot harder than I thought. If you're interested in that video, I will link it in the description. I would say there were a couple different moments that started to slowly change my opinion on abstract art. Sometimes it just takes one artist to do it a certain way and you're hooked. For me, that artist was Walter Peele. If you followed me for any period of time, you know that I love horses. They are an endless source of inspiration to me, so I was on a school field trip to our local art museum and I saw this large canvas, and at first it just looked like a mashup of lines and colors, so I kind of rolled my eyes and thought, oh yeah, more abstract garbage, so I moved on to other things. And then as I was walking around and I had moved across the room, I looked back at the canvas and my jaw about dropped. It was a horse. In the midst of all of those jumbled lines and colors was a very recognizable horse. The indication of movement, of muscles and expression. Yeah. So Walter Peele is a Midwestern artist that primarily does Western themed art, but with more of a loose abstract style, and I was impressed. I know that it would take a lot of work for me to even come close to something like that. And the hard part about abstract for me is that it can easily be overworked. So this kind of broke me out of my realism snobbery, and I was open to other things. Now, over the years, I've seen a handful of artists that kind of influenced my opinion on abstract. So while I still don't like things that look like they were just thrown at a canvas, I discovered a style of abstract that I do like. I tend to be drawn to things that have an intriguing color palette, but not too many colors. Like, if a piece does have a lot of colors, it has to be kind of pretty special for me to like it. But I also like pieces that have a nice contrast and composition. But I think one feature that really draws me into an abstract piece is a contrast in texture. I don't remember who this artist is, but I have images of her paintings clear in my mind, and she would have a very soft gradient, like it almost looked airbrushed kind of background. And then she would have like a spackling of texture in just a couple regions of the canvas, and I really liked it. Once I got past the idea that abstract art was actually appealing, I tried to make abstract art for myself, and to say it was a struggle is a massive understatement. I had such a hard time creating anything that didn't resemble something else or didn't just look like a muddy mess. So watercolor abstracts have been by far the easiest for me, but I still have to go through a certain process to ensure a piece that I like. Now, having done it for a while, I will absolutely admit that it takes a lot of skill. And when you compare realism and abstract, it's really not a fair assessment because it's kind of an apples to oranges comparison. I wouldn't say that realism takes more skill than abstract because it requires a different kind of skill. An advantage to abstract is that you really can focus on color, composition, contrast, and texture without having to worry about anatomy or lighting, which I think has been enjoyable for me because I like to go back and forth, and it gives me a bit of a break from doing just one thing. So that's it. That's kind of the development on how I went from hating abstract art to actually creating it and enjoying it for myself. What do you guys think about abstract art? Make sure you post in the comments for that. So thanks for watching this to the end, peeps. If you like my abstract artwork, I have a few in my latest collection available as prints on my website at sparrowspringsart.com. And that's all for now, peeps. I will see you tomorrow for Tubetober Day 3.